All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us here at Lentler Sports Ground in Stellenbosch for today's press conference. A bit of a different look and feel to this one, but the standard rules do apply. Please make sure that your devices are all on silent. If it's not on silent, put it on there now. And please just show Coach the courtesy of introducing yourself and your publishing house when asking your questions. With that said, it is a pleasure for me today to be able to introduce somebody who needs no introduction. There was 1,000 matches in the PSL. Four-time PSL winning coach, a handful of PSL Coach of the Season awards, and proudly the new Stellenbosch FC head coach, Gavin Hunt. Coach, welcome to the club.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How are you?
You're going to ask me questions or as I talk? What am I talking about? Yeah, I've looked at yeah, very happy to be here. Obviously only been here a week now, so trying to feel my way, trying to learn every who and what, and but it's been a great experience so far. So hopefully we can turn it into some good results, because that's what we need, and try and go from there. Obviously we got the CAF as well next week, so that's a sort of opportunity for the players as well. And yeah, the best thing is to ask me some questions. We're just rolling around here all day.
We'll jump into it. Tashreeq.
Coach, Tashreeq, used 24. Coach, was just like, sit probably like 30 days. You leave Durban City. 30 days later, Stellenbosch announced you as head coach.
Less than 30 days. Yeah.
Less than 30 days. How long in that period before Stellenbosch CEO Rob called you to say this is a vacancy?
Yeah.
And what was that conversation about? What lured you to come back to the Western Cape?
So basically, I mean, football, I think football is always generally, it's like with player coaches, it's about timing, isn't it? So this was never planned. This obviously, with Steve leaving, they obviously, they had started a process of interviewing coaches, as I was told. And Rob phoned me and said, would you be interested in the job? I said, no. Yeah. So, yeah, it sort of went from there, and then the process started, and it was a process of whatever would happen behind the scenes. And then you said you'd get back to me, and that was it. So it was a bit of a, I mean, from a timing perspective, obviously for me personally, it was great, because obviously it was very sudden what happened there. Very, it happened so quickly. So, and sometimes, as I said, the jobs is generally a timing thing, isn't it? And sometimes, you can't really plan these type of things. So, I mean, it's a great football club, well run, well structured. Who wouldn't want to be in this environment, Great staff, that's important for me.
Coach, Rob from Industry Times. What is it, 25 years since you coached in the Western Cape, and I mean, 25 years in South African football, a lot has changed. I think it's basically only Chiefs, Pirates and Sundowns who are from the original structures. But a lot has changed in Cape Town. I mean, a club that didn't exist, I mean, like you were saying outside earlier, I mean, Stellies was amateur football back those days. Pleasantly surprised by how fast it's grown, and how has it been quite an easy transition because of that.
I mean, just going back to, I mean, the problem I've had is obviously I've had 5 or 6 clubs that have been sold underneath me. When they get sold, so you're pretty much looking for a job. So you don't plan to move around a lot, but I mean, sometimes circumstances in this business, And I've had a lot of stability in my coaching group, besides the last 3-4 years, which has been a nightmare, up and down and around. But if you look at Cape Town football, if I look at a club like Stellenbosch, where it's advanced to, with everything around the game, the technology and things like that, and that's been a real eye-opener. And the game has moved on so fast, but the game doesn't change. That's because people have been very careful of that. So, and I think a club like this is very advanced in data analysts and things like that, in the way forward, looking at players, looking at options and things like that, and I think that's so important. But not taking away from the fact that it still takes hard work and determination and organisation and things like that on the pitch, and getting the right players in now. So Cape Town's been disappointing from looking from the outside in, what's happening with a lot of the clubs who have gone. I mean, it's really disappointed me, because this was a hotbed of Cape, football. We used to have 4 teams in the PSL, 4 or 5 teams sometimes. I think the one team we might have had 5, but generally we had 4 teams in the PSL. Obviously, it makes it difficult for Stellenbosch, because now every time we play away, you're outside. where before you could just drive down the road and play a derby, you know. So hopefully that comes back again, you know, when teams come up again. But yeah, it's, you know, you never think, these type of things, you never think they're going to work out, but obviously I'm here now, so let's see.
Yeah. Leonard Solms, ESPN Africa. Coach, in recent days we've seen Stellenbosch linked with the likes of Marcelo Dusa and Sekifatso Mapasa. Obviously you may be limited in exactly how much detail you can reveal, but can you speak at all about the club's plans for the January transfer window?
Yeah, I think it's evident in our situation that we need to bring, you know, players in, because we are a little bit short. It's just that we're short of players, especially in the front of the team, there's no doubt, and obviously at the back of the team. So there's a lot of negotiations going on right now. Believe me, you know, when I get on my phone, it'll be, hopefully, you know, there is a lot of players we have spoken to. There's a lot of players we've lost out to as well. So before we make any announcements, I think the club will come through the media department that will announce those players as soon as contracts have been signed. But there is a lot of negotiations on the go at the moment for players to come in. Yeah.
Coach Mokonzo from Italy. I know it's only been a week since you arrived, but when you look at the squad, out of 10, how would you rate the current squad that we have at Stellis?
I think there's a good crop of players. You know, I've looked at a lot of the games. Obviously, both ends of the pitch we need to be better, isn't it? I mean, where we are, we need to defend better and we need to score goals. I mean, it's pretty basic. So, in the week that I've been here, I've tried to work on that side of the team. Obviously, we're trying to work on the other side of the team going forward. But we need to, you know, it's the basic concept, you know, don't stop conceding goals and score some goals. And obviously create a few more chances as well. So sometimes it's a difficult concept, but it's something we have to get better at because we've got some tough games ahead of us.
Diveni from Disky Voice. Coach, you spoke about the instability you went through the last 4 seasons or so. Joining Stellis, do you see this as a team that maybe will allow you time to do what you want to do, considering how long Steve obviously was here?
Yeah. Well, if you look from the distance, obviously the club's had a lot of stability over the 8-9 years, which is what you want. I mean, any club. And this has been obviously a difficult period for the staff that have been here because now you're bringing somebody new in, and it wasn't expected. So, from my perspective, obviously, if you look at all the jobs I've worked at, I've been 7, 8 years, 6 years, 7 years, you know, and obviously the reason why I left, you've been sold or you've been fired, you know what I'm saying? So, you would like to think that. You know, there's been some honest conversations I've had with the management, which is good, but results determine those things, isn't it? The bottom line is you've got to get results. And I know the supporters here, that's the most important thing for me is I feel support. You know, I can walk through a door with a front on, not backwards, you know what I mean? You know? So that's the most important thing. And everybody's, you know, it's been fantastic towards me here, and that's the most important thing. I think the club is a huge push and a pull in the right direction, you know, so that's important for me. You know, the support staff, Wes has been brilliant with me, Van, you know, all the fitness trainers, everybody, management has been fantastic, so that's important. And, you know, the game, I always say the game, if you're honest with the game will be honest to you. You know, don't come with hidden agendas, you know, and that I think I've been in those situations too many times now. These are honest people, and if we win, it's not me, it's us, you know, and I think that's important.
Seko.
Hi, Coach. My name is Seko from Far Post. We came.
You score goals in the near post. Your name and place Far Post.
We all know about the league position, but you're still in CAF and you're going to play the Nedbank Cup as well now. How are you planning to balance like the priorities?
Must I say a lot and say nothing? One game at a time. If we, you know, I think you cannot prioritize things in football. I think it leads to you can get caught with your pants down. So let's start concentrating on the next game, which is Tuesday. Let's go to the next game after that. If you start thinking, well, CAF is not important, or Nedbank's not important, or this game's not important, and that happens, you know. You see teams change from, you know, people get rest. I won't rest people if I feel obviously you know, they're really going to be tight for me to rest, you know what I mean, rotation and those type of things. Obviously, within reason, you know what I'm saying. But I think it's important to just calm down and concentrate on the next game.
Coach, like I said, it's been 25 years since you last coached in Western Cape. are you surprised that it has taken you this long to come back to coach in the region? And has there ever been a chance for you to ever have come back even before this job? Was there ever a phone call?
So, 1999, the owner of one of the clubs in Cape Town phoned me. He said, "I'm phoning you back in 10 minutes' time." I'm still waiting for the phone. I'm still waiting for the phone. So I won't tell you who the owner was. Yeah.
You get to take a guess.
Yeah. He was a Greek, wasn't he? I'm still waiting for his phone call. So that tells you a story, yeah. And I was at a Greek club. Yeah, so it was actually quite interesting to watching all the years when you've had Joburg guys coaching Cape Town clubs and I'm up there. And it was quite interesting, with Eric and Roger. I don't know who else was there.
Were you surprised that it's taken you this long? Because I mean,
No, I was telling Rob earlier, I actually like Joburg. I mean, Joburg's a place.
wow.
And I'm a Cape Town boy.
Yeah.
And you got Ken.
Morning, Coach. I'm Ken from Supersport. Steelies are doing well in the Confederation Cup. Is this a tournament that you're hoping to have a deep dive run in? And where do you think you'll finish?
In the Confed or the
Confed.
the Confed, yeah. I couldn't tell you, I think, like I said earlier, we get there when we get there, you know what I'm saying? I think the two teams that we played, I don't know, I haven't played against them. I've played most of the teams, but I haven't played these two teams. I know the mentality against Algeria was there, Libya, Morocco, I've been to Tunisia, played all there. So I know the mentality of North Africa. Central Africa, I know the mentality. I've been keeping Mazembe, I've played all those teams, and this is another Congolese team. So, yeah, once the fixtures and where they sort it out. So I think it's important for us to build a bit of confidence back in the team and obviously try and win wherever we can, in the next game.
Coach, you mentioned Roger and Eric and all these coaches. I think you're the third coach in the last 15 years of the big three clubs who are actually from Cape Town. Do you think that's actually influenced a bit of the football? I mean, it's Benny, Sean, and maybe a couple of interim coaches in between.
But be careful what I say here, because I generally think over the years, I think a lot of the good players have come from Cape Town. I think it was a hotbed of the hotbed of South African football. Guys who really influenced the national team, Sean and Mark, and these type of guys. Mark Fisher was originally from here, they were Victoria, but I don't know. I mean, Clive Barker he always said the best coaches come from Durban. Him, Gordon, that stuff, they won everything, So I think Cape Town, I don't know. Rob, it's a difficult question. I wouldn't know how to answer that, But I mean, generally, I think if you look at, the focus has always been Johannesburg, but I do think you find Cape Town's a little bit detached from the football sometimes, and you sort of, well, they're there. Even when I was playing here, you never really got recognition, I mean, the first 92 team that got picked, we were top of the league, and we got one player in the team. And we killed Sundowns, and we hammered all of those Pirates and Chiefs and all of them. We got one player in the team, 92. Hello? So it was a bit strange, but that's what happens. They don't see you down here, And but certainly a lot of the clubs are buying the players from this area. If you look at the last 10, 15, 20 years.
I think just when you first started out the coaching in Johannesburg, a lot of people used to say, Andy's got a Cape Town way of playing. He used to get it wide, good wingers get the ball in the box. Obviously football has changed, become a lot more generic. That's the two. Now that you're back in Cape Town, is there plans still to that elements of Cape Town football that you might try and bring back a little bit?
I think if you look at what's his strength been the last few years? If you look at Stellenbosch's strength the last few years, always difficult to play against, competitive, quite, what's the word, direct, if you want to call it. And there was always goal threats, and they were, as I said, hard to beat. So whatever that means, that style, we need to get that back a little bit, you know what I mean? So I think football goes in phases, isn't it? If you look what's happened the last couple of years, everybody trying to copy what a certain coach was doing, and now it's going away from it. Even he's changed, gone from a goalkeeper that can't kick it or pass it out the back. So what is right? You'll see the next World Cup. If teams play with a back three, everybody will start playing with a back three. So it gets a little bit fashionable sometimes. And I think Cape Town has got a certain DNA about it. You know what I'm saying? And I think like Ajax and those type of clubs went away from that a little bit. You know what happened at Ajax? They were bottom of the league trying to play their way from a touch way. They went back to a 4-4-2. They came 6th in the league the first year. I was there. You know, we went away from the touch coach. We brought back Terry Eckers, and all of a sudden we went back to what we were good at. You know, so maybe you've got to be careful not to change too much. And try. We as a club, we need to get back to what makes us good, or what makes us, you know, the team good. You know, what is that? We need to find it very quickly. I know it, but you know, we need to find it. You know.
Coach, a follow-up from Rob's first question. So you've won 4 league titles with unfancy teams or teams outside the big three. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but I think it was around 60 points in each of those seasons.
No, it was less.
Now, when you look at the amount of points that the big clubs have been getting lately to win, and also just the way a lot of the traditional competition has folded, do you think it's still possible to take a club like this and create an underdog story like that, go all the way and win?
Jeez, we're not nowhere near there now, but I think you need more competitive teams. I think when the teams, the points tally was lower, there was 3 or 4 competitive teams. I think the 1 or 2 just pulled themselves away now with the spend. Because, guys, the bottom line is the teams who spend the most money are top of the league. Bottom line. Anywhere in the world, generally. They won't be at the top 2. So those teams are pulled away with the financial, you know, buying of players, bringing in foreign players of top quality. Where before the talent was a little bit evenly spread. And then they bought all our best talent, plus they added on, and we sort of, you know, a club like this, we need to, our youth development is key for this club, to get our younger players through, get them in earlier, and we will give them opportunities. Obviously, they need to be good enough, you know. But we as a club, we need, you can have all the, we were talking earlier about Ryan, you can have all the styles of football and how you want to play, but your recruitment is key in football. It's key. We need that right type of player, the right DNA of this club, of how we want to play. That is key. And that we have to be, you know, I'm not saying they have to be good, I'm saying I need to be better, or we need to be better at that type part of the game.
You Ben?
Coach, not to take anything away from what you said earlier about having the best people to support you, are you planning to bring any of your own people in terms of support staff?
It came up in a discussion, and maybe the other candidates wanted to bring 5-6 people in. But I, obviously, having known a lot of the people here, the CEO, Wes, Van, goalkeeping coach, knowing these guys, you know, those are key guys for me. I know them, you know, and they're good people. That's important for me. Good human beings first, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of knowledge as well, you know, which is helpful to me and helpful to the club. That's important for me, you know. The rest of the people, I mean, obviously Liam and these guys, the media, obviously that's, you know, all part and parcel of it. And I'll get to meet everybody. But the people that you work with on a daily basis is vitally important, you know. So, yeah, see no reason. I mean, not that I said this is a, you know, it's going to be that be or end all. I know possibly the other candidates certainly was probably, yeah.
And we'll take the last round of questioning, starting with Rob.
Coach, obviously getting to know some of the players, some guys you obviously know already, but what have you made of the squad? Were you actually kind of surprised? I mean, considering how well, I mean, reaching a final at the beginning of the season, things didn't go well in the league, but it wasn't like they were losing 5-0. It was a lot of these odd little losses. Are you surprised by, I mean, the position that they found themselves in?
You know what's happened, Rob, in the PSL? The bottom teams have all got better. The bottom teams, the teams are generally in the bottom of the league. And you can name them, the McGacy's, the Chippers, they've got better. So, where you used to have a little bit of a gap, I think everybody's got a bit better. Maybe they got the recruitment or, you know, those type of things. So, we need to obviously get out of the situation a little bit, you know. And obviously, the league game, next league game is vitally important for us, you know. But you're never surprised in football. Cape Town City last year, you know, got a top side, blah blah blah, you know. And so you got, you know, you can never think you're never good enough to be where you are. It takes hard work, grind, grit, you know, all the famous things. So how much is it really tactical and all those type of things? You know, we need to get the group together. I'm not saying they're not together. You know, I don't want to talk about the past. I think Steve did a great job here, fantastic time, but I've had to come in and we've got to do what we have to do now, you know what I'm saying, and see and do the right things. So, yeah, and as I say, with the support of everybody, everybody's not happy in their position, and but it's not about you don't deserve to be there. Never come with that theory. You know, you look around the world, Man United, they don't deserve to be there. They're there. We need to get out of the situation.
Yes, I was going to ask a similar question now, but just maybe to expand on it. Coach, do you think that situation of like lower clubs becoming better and seeing Cape Town City struggling last season and also SuperSport United was struggling last season, does the fact that it's 16 teams play a role in that? Would it be different, maybe 18?
My theory, I think we should have, well, I've said it for the last 25, 30 years, there should be more teams. But that's another story for another day. Yeah, it is what it is. And but if you get out there and everybody does their little jobs, you put this thing together and then you go from there, yeah.
Coach, what is your thoughts on AFCON this year? Which nations have impressed you and which players have stood out?
Well, I think the two best sides are there. I think Morocco will win it. I think they can do 2-3 sides of playing differently. But Senegal have got some good individual players. You know, they got through with a bit of lucky goals there. But Senegal good side. But I think Morocco, home support, I can't see them losing. You know.
Coach, you've coached at Stellenbosch and now he's retired. What's your message to him? I know you might have sent him a text or something.
I hope he can speak English by now. I still can't speak English. I can speak Portuguese. We had a great relationship. Fantastic servant to the game, isn't it? You know what I mean? What a player. I never get him. First day he walked on the training ground. I said, what do we got here? He had the legs, you know, he's like this. I was like, geez, we just got rid of Tika Madisa. He was South Africa's best player. And that year he was South African player of the year. So, fantastic servant to the game. I mean, I can't talk enough about him. Great human being. You know, that's the most important, one of the big things. Great human being, looks after his family. You know, hopefully he's financially looked after himself as well. I think he has. So it's difficult to have a conversation because, you know, but we know when we talk to each other, we know what we're saying. But he's a great lad. So I'll see him sometime, sure.
Coach, maybe on a bit of a lighter note, you said you preferred Joburg earlier. Is it football reason? What are the reasons?
What's that?
You prefer Joburg over Cape Town?
Nah, it's just, I was talking earlier, I do not like Cape Town. You know, when you've been there so long, it's just a, I think, you know, Joburg, things happen, you know. You know, Cape Town CA call again.
Coach, just on some of the young players, I mean, that is something that is obviously done very well here in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
You, coach who's notoriously always given young players a chance, seeing Chandray and is it McGiddy now going to overseas as well?
There you go, yeah, another one.
Do you see some exciting prospects?
So we had a game against them on last week. Well, obviously, that's the first thing I did. Let's have a look where you got exciting talent. I think Van told me he's got 6 or 7 left-footed players. You know, which I love left-footed players. And played last week, but that's already a plus for me. I watched the game on the weekend. You know, really good, and a real good DNA the way we want to play the game, which is important. You know, yeah. So. Do we look every day? We had a friendly on yesterday, the day before. We had one in, looking at him already a little bit, you know, sending back play. We had, you know, the one boy, we're also looking at the defender, you know, injured now or something. So, yeah, so it'll be an ongoing thing. But a goalkeeper, I think, is really good. So there's a few of them, you know, definitely. But right now, we need to consolidate what we've got. Let me get the best out of the players that we've got. And if we can add them in slowly, we will, you know. It's important for us.
I can take the last question from Leonard.
Coach, you've managed various generations of younger players, seen a shift not only as footballers but as human beings. I've spoken to players who you coached earlier in your career, like Schlompo mentioned that.
Lever.
You would always encourage them to manage their money well. You would look after them as more than just footballers. With the younger generation that's coming through now, is there a difference in terms of the way you would maybe talk to them? do they still listen to advice like that?
Well, I wouldn't last if I didn't change. I wouldn't last. I've had to change my whole approach. If I managed like I was managed, we wouldn't have a team. We wouldn't have a team. And then when I first came into management, if I managed like I managed then, we wouldn't have a team. Yeah, so if you want to stay relevant with the game, as the game moves, as the youth development move, you know, I come from an era with no TVs, no phones, you know what I'm saying? So it's a totally different era. And the youth of today are very different, rightly or wrongly. We can't think like we all think we were better in my day. You know, your parents will tell you, you know, in our day we were better. You know that is. But we actually sometimes I think we were. Let's not go there. But to manage young players of today, I've certainly had to change my whole approach towards them, how we talk to them. I mean, sometimes you talk to a player on a WhatsApp now. Before you never had a WhatsApp, you had to talk to the player face to face, you know. So a lot has changed. I have to change. I have to, you know, my approach. Yeah, otherwise you're going to lose them. And, you know, the ones, hopefully you lose for quite a few because those are the ones you don't want, don't you? You know what I'm saying? Because they can't stand up to, you know, the toughness of the world. I mean, things are much easier in the world now, accessible, so where before it was a little bit more grind, you know, how to, you know, to play football. And football is a difficult industry. I mean, how many people make it at professional level, you know? So they're very privileged and very honored. Sometimes they don't appreciate it, sometimes they don't know that, and sometimes they need to be told. What they're doing is, there's millions of people out there that would love to be doing what they do. You know, imagine training for 2 hours in a day and doing a little bit of gym now for an hour, and off we go, you know. So, you know, but I've had to change, otherwise I wouldn't last.
All right, that concludes this afternoon's press conference. Coach, thank you very much for your time. Thank you everyone for putting through.